So I'd like to introduce everybody from Leasing Avenues to Peter Zeihan. Anybody who's followed me at all knows that I think the world of Peter Zeihan. Peter being a expert geopolitical figure, most prescient, seems to have everything figured out before it happens. And I have to say, the more he talks, the more I'm surprised. Even when I think what he's talking about is pretty far-fetched, it seems to come true faster than even I think maybe he even expects. And we're going to cover a range of topics, but for the most part, Peter, talk about your three books and the progression of the three books and where we are today. And I guess the new book right now, Disunited Nations, is being released this week, correct?
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday. So now is a prescient time, as you are prescient always. So let's talk about it and tell me about the books.
Sure. So Accidental Superpower, that's the first one. That is the culmination of kind of the first 3 or 4 years of me as an independent. I speak to groups, I talk about geopolitics, and I always try to tell the story of the world from their point of view to play it forward. Turns out you do that to 50 to 100 groups, and all of a sudden you got a book. So Accidental is the map of the future, how we got to where we are, and the international crises that Americans are most likely to notice. Book 2, The Absent Superpower. That starts with the shale revolution, and the reason I started it there, the shale revolution got a chapter in the first book because it was something that was significant. It was changing the balance of power. But in the 2 years since the first book was released, the shale revolution grew in scope and depth in a way that no one could have foreseen. I got a lot of crap back in 2014 with Accidental for saying that the shale revolution was happening so fast. And then it happened a lot faster. Nobody was right. Everybody was wrong. Everybody was too conservative. So we went from thinking that the United States, Mexico, and Canada as a unit would be energy self-sufficient by 2021 to the United States doing it all by itself about a year ago. So the shale revolution was to play that forward and show how disruptive that would be to energy markets, which in turn would make it disruptive to global geopolitics. So it looked into the military eruptions that would happen around the world as a result, the 3 big wars, and then what would happen in the United States industrial space when everything was rewired. This new book, Disunited Nations, I was supposed to write this one 2 years from now. It was supposed to be about the countries of the future and the countries that we think of as the countries of the future that just aren't going to cut it. The whole idea was, once it became obvious to everyone that the global system was breaking down, that it was time to talk about the next chapter of human history. And then the world went and started breaking down a lot faster than I'd anticipated. So instead of coming out in 2022, it's coming out, this week.
Fantastic. Well, I guess, well, it's going to be available where? It's going to be available hard copy.
Should be everywhere.
As well as online, Amazon, Apple Books.
Yeah, my own pre-orders just shipped today. This is Thursday. And in theory, everything should be arriving on time next Monday, next Tuesday. And everything else is in stock and in print.
Excellent. And I think it's just in time for the Equipment Leasing and Finance Association's Executive Roundtable in Naples, Florida next week, correct?
The timing is perfect.
Timing is perfect. And there will be some of the books there too, correct?
Absolutely.
I would have to say that I've heard you speak a number of times, and we'll talk about that a little later, but your speaking style is quite unique in my personal opinion.